You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episodes 9 and 10 of Batman Caped Crusader, the final two episodes of the season, and the arrival of Harvey Dent as Two-Face. So, how is this going to work exactly? Because obviously we know he got, at the end of the last episode, due to deciding to stand up for what was right and do the right thing, he got splashed in the face with acid, and now he's gonna obviously be hospitalized. But how is his mind gonna break? What's gonna be that point that causes that? What is going to actually turn him from Harvey Dent to Two-Face? Is it just gonna be the acid splash? Is it gonna be something more? Is it going to be a combination of things? I guess we're gonna kind of have to see. So, I'm kind of thinking, are we going to even get that right away in episode 9, or is that going to wait till episode 10 as well? And even above that, if we do get in episode 9, will it cover both episodes? Because I feel like this is the big season finale thing, the thing that everything's been working up to. So will this actually cover both episodes here at this finale? I guess we'll have to see. I don't know exactly what to expect. I don't know exactly how this is going to go. I don't know what Two-Face even looks like in this version, so I'm excited. And at this point, just hoping that this ends out well. Obviously, we'll have to replace this, and I'll talk about that in the afterthoughts, but for now, let's just get into this and see how Batman Caped Crusader Season 1 closes out. Cutting in here real quick to remind you of all the awesome content we have on the channel. Between Monday and Friday, we have a plethora of awesome series reactions, with 2 on Wednesday. We also have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday. I do pre-record them during the week, but upload them on the weekend. We have gaming content as well on our secondary channel, Princess of Gaming. Every single day we upload parts of Baldur's Gate 3, and every other day is Horizon Forbidden West. But on Saturdays we also get to Nier Automata. Don't forget to click the link in the description for today's reaction. I redirect everything on the channel just because of copyright. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click that like button. It helps out the channel and allows me to get more of this awesome content to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get on with today's reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I looked everywhere I could, and apparently whoever is voicing the Joker is purposefully uncredited and being kept a mystery. So this is very intentional. This is very intentional. We're not supposed to know who that voice is yet. The performance, though, of it was a lot darker and more serious. Definitely was not trying to do a Mark Hamill impression, which I'm glad for. I like it when the Joker voice isn't just another attempt at impersonating Mark Hamill's Joker voice. I like it when they do their own things. Kevin Michael Richardson did a great job in the Batman series, and John DiMaggio, who is in this as Bullock and various other characters, is probably the best non-Mark Hamill Joker voice actor. And he did it for Under the Red Hood. He was amazing in that. As the Joker. Definitely the second best Joker voice actor after Mark Hamill, in my opinion. But I like that this one is definitely seeming more serious, more intense, more gruff. It fits the tone of this series and the time period in which it takes place. Having a more Mark Hamill style Joker voice would not fit. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be believable. It would be out of place. Now, the question is, what's his laugh going to be like? Because you still have to have a laugh to some degree. And John DiMaggio did this actually extremely well, again, in Under the Red Hood. His Joker laugh was a lot more menacing. It wasn't like funny and high-pitched, it was lower-pitched, actually. And I think something like that would be really good for this version of the Joker. I think that would be a good way to go about it. But, like, I didn't see that coming. And I don't know fucking how. Like, how has that not been everywhere? How have I not seen that or even heard about that? How? Like, there's a lot of cases where I'm really good at avoiding spoilers, where I actually just the way I handle things, whether muting certain words on Twitter and stuff or various other methods, I actually manage to avoid spoilers pretty well. There's some cases where it doesn't work very well, like One Piece, because One Piece's community is horrifically good at spoiling stuff. But then there's also cases where I end up not spoiled and I have no fucking idea how. Because it's like, I've heard so many people talking about this series. I hear so many people talking about Harley Quinn. I've heard talk about Two-Face. I'm surprised I never saw what he looked like prior, but I've heard people at least talking about him. But I never saw anything relating to the Joker. And that's wild. I'm wondering if people purposefully kept it hidden and didn't talk about it as much because they didn't want to spoil anyone on something like that. And this brings in some interesting questions too, because if they're going to bring Harley back in season 2, is she going to end up coming back with the Joker? Or is like the Joker going to recruit her? Or how's this going to work in comparison with that? I wonder. But what we see of the Joker in this last episode, is he's in some kind of like broken down, abandoned shack in like kind of this downtrodden area, testing out his Joker toxin, his Joker venom, on, I think there was 5 different people there. And it showed most of them, all but one, already dead with the obvious, horrific smiles on their faces. Which is instantly a giveaway. Like, even before they show the Joker and everything, it's like I instantly knew it was him because of those faces. That's classic Joker. But then it's like you're panning over all of them, and then you see and hear the one who's still there, still laughing and in the process of dying. And it's like, oh, it's so good. It's such a good reveal. It's such a good reveal. But let's actually talk about these episodes. So this was absolutely a 2-parter. And the first episode here, episode 9, focused on Harvey losing his sanity and becoming kind of a vigilante in and of his own right. He never was like a full-on villain. And they actually made a point of saying that with like Barbara and others sticking up for him and telling him like he's a victim too and all. He never became like a full-on villain. He was only going after the people who did this to him in the first place. Interestingly enough, outside of his little moments of, snapping because he's gone insane. But then in the second episode, he's even more of like, or I guess even less of a villain is a better way to put it, to the point where he's just trying to escape Rupert Thorne coming after him for, him coming after Rupert Thorne. And this all leads into him actually sacrificing his life to save Barbara, which is wild. I really did not expect him to die. That caught me so off guard. And that happened in The Dark Knight, too. The movie The Dark Knight, where Aaron Eckhart played Two-Face. they did the same thing there, and it was surprising as well. But for a movie that was only going to be like the second part of a trilogy, and it was clear it was going to be like only a trilogy, um, it kind of made sense, you know. It just it tracked. But then you have this where it's like we're getting a second entire season and possibly more after that, and we're killing him right in at the end of season one. Like I understand it's like his character arc could kind of be seen as finished and all, but they could have done more with him and have him completely snap and go full bad guy. But no, instead they decided to keep him like as this like tragic character. Again, kind of like how he's done in the Dark Knight, except in the Dark Knight he's a lot more of a bad guy. But he's kept as this tragic character whose mind just snaps after after the acid is thrown in his face and he's disfigured. His mind snaps and he starts to gain like this more aggressive second personality. I wouldn't say it's quite a full split. It's not quite like you see in I guess Batman the Animated Series with the big bad Harv stuff. It's not quite as directly DID, dissociative identity disorder. It's not quite as the same as that. It's more like voices in his head, and they're like they occasionally cause him to go more violent than he normally would want to be. He basically just has these moments of violent actions and thoughts that just take over, and he can't really control it. And I think that's a fair way to handle this situation. Again, I'm just surprised that he died. And he never became a true villain. And it's a different take, and it's wild. And mind you, this entire season is full of different takes on these characters. That's kind of a big point of this series to do different things with these characters that we know and love so much. And it's succeeded on almost every level. In fact, I'd say pretty much, yeah, every level it's succeeded. I can't think of one that really failed at all. So it's like, what now? We have some other villains that escaped and are definitely going to make a return, like Harley. But it's like, we actually, like with this entire season-long story arc setting up for this, we actually killed him off. That's just surprising to me. Bullock and Flass getting their comeuppance, and clearly they're not going to be able to get their way out of this one. I'm very happy for that. Also, I bet you anything when I go on YouTube later and look up these reactions to the final episode, I bet you anything people are going to be focusing on Batman wielding the gun. I bet you fucking anything that's going to be the thumbnails people are going to use, that they're going to like use that for the flavor text on the thumbnails, in their titles, etc., to try and, use a little bit of, what's it called? My mind's blanking. I was trying to make a point here and my mind's blanking. I hate it when that happens. Clickbait. It's clickbait. It gets people's interest, it gets people invested, and I'm not going to fall into that trap. Because it's like, we know that Batman's not going to actually shoot anyone. And there was not a question about that. It was clear what he was going to do. He was going to scare Flass by shooting around him. That was obvious right from the start. I even said it. So, yeah. But people are absolutely going to utilize that for their thumbnails and whatnot. Obviously, by this point, you'll have seen what I've used as my thumbnail. So, you'll know that I'm going more for the surprise of it all. But yeah. I think this was a really good finale. It kind of wrapped up the main points of this season. And having Bruce kind of start to realize that Harvey was a reflection of himself, that Harvey's broken mind there was actually very similar to Bruce's own, and that he's, him as Batman has been the same dark side that Harvey was facing at the end there. It's like, I really love how they did that, because throughout the season they've set this up, that Bruce has been, hiding behind this facade and everything, that he's been, I believe I put it earlier in the season, this traumatized little boy who hasn't been able to properly grow up and, process his trauma in a healthy way. And we're definitely seeing that. We're definitely seeing that here. Showing how he even acknowledges, like, what he did with Harvey, trying to take him out and everything, trying to force him into normalcy, was absolutely the wrong fucking move. But then on top of it, he started to feel guilt, he started to blame himself, and he absolutely realized in the end that Harvey's darkness there was reflecting his own. That he was going down that path where he could have gone far enough down to where he would have shot someone, where he would have given in to that temptation. But having been able to recognize and see that allowed him to come out of that. And he looked at, when you saw him look at that gun with disgust, it wasn't just disgust at the gun as a weapon, as a tool. It was disgust that he almost used it on Flass. It was disgust that he actually was tempted to kill a person. But there was also definitely relief that he didn't give in to that. And because Alfred had been the one telling him throughout this entire season about stuff like that, but especially in these last couple episodes, he realized that Alfred's been the one who's been here for him this entire time, and that he's been looking out for him and trying to help him stay away from this stuff. And by the end, he finally shows the respect to Alfred by calling him Alfred rather than Pennyworth. Rather than calling him by his last name and seeing him as just the servant, he humanizes him. He shows value that he has in him and care he has for him. And that's exactly what we want to see here. That's exactly how we want that to happen. Like I said, I was expecting it to happen at the end of the episode with the Gentleman Ghost. I was even hoping for it to happen there, because it made sense with everything going on, with Bruce acknowledging that he can't do this without Alfred and being so scared of losing him in that moment. But on looking at it retrospectively, it actually made more sense to wait till the finale of the season, because that way you could show all of Bruce's growth through this moment and show that he is processing things better than at the beginning of the series. And I like that. I like how it's handled. I think it's really well done. And so now the question comes to, what is next? The only real hints we have are related to the villains who are not dead, and the little hint at the Joker. Is he going to be the main villain next time? Or just another one that comes in? I don't know. What other villains could they bring into season 2? Bane? Like they could absolutely do Bane in a more grounded way, which is what they're trying to do with the villains in this series. They could absolutely do Bane. I could see that. There's other supernatural enemies they could bring in. I mean, imagine bringing in Etrigan the Demon. That would be pretty cool, would it not? And then you could bring in other factors too. Like, we've already met a shit ton of Robins. What if we actually have that come into play next season? Or what if we even have Barbara become Batwoman? That could work too. There's a lot of great ideas they could work with here. And I don't know what they're actually going to do. I don't know where they're going to go. But there's so many things they could still do. And with other villains that they bring in, yes, I want to see a couple more notable ones. But I also want to see some more that are, more obscure, lesser known. Because I think that would be cool to keep bringing in villains who are not like the big mainstream ones that have been done over and over. That could be very, very cool. But I also, again, I want to see like the bigger name ones too. Bring in the likes of Poison Ivy. Bring in the likes of Scarecrow. Like, there's so many to choose from. So hopefully we get some really good ones next season. No word on when that's going to come, of course, because they're still in production. Probably, I would say I could see it by spring of next year. Maybe summer. I'm thinking probably more spring, but we'll see. We'll see. It depends on how long it takes to get everything done. And that could definitely differentiate on various things. We'll just have to wait and see. But for the time being, tell me your thoughts on this finale. Tell me your thoughts on how these 2 episodes went down, on Harvey's arc here, and even on that big reveal at the end. Let me know your thoughts on everything, and for now... I was about to sign off without revealing what was going to replace this. Wow. I was so focused on what had happened here and like that Joker reveal that I almost completely forgot about that. So, this is a Connie's Choice slot. Wednesday slots right now are for stuff that are just my choice, my decision, stuff I want to react to. No donation rewards, no first impressions continuations, just stuff that is my choice. And that can include stuff that we honestly need to bring back. Because there's one show that we haven't reacted to in 2 years. And I've been wanting to get back to it, just never found the right time. And I don't know if this is it, but we're going to take that opportunity and we're bringing it back. So, starting next week, we return to OKKO Let's Be Heroes for the 3rd and final season. I'm excited to see what we have in store. It's been a while. I'm ready for these good time shenanigans. And hopefully we see our heroes really live up to that title. So, yeah. Thank you all so much once again for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts. For now, for real this time, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.